I'm Joe Chili. You can listen to me mornings on the Big Weck. Joining us today on the Big Weck's Buffalo on the Rise is Dr. Thomas Elmer from Fichte, Endl and Elmer Eye Associates. How are you doing today?
Doing great, Joe. Thanks for having me.
Nice. You know, you don't really look like a doctor.
That's so
I don't know
funny,
how doctors should look, but you look very,
You know, my dad was an attorney.
Really?
So he said, these docs, they don't dress that good. You got to dress nice.
You
So
look more
believe it
like-
or not,
you
a
look
lot
more
of
like-
my suits are my dad's.
you look more like an attorney.
Yeah.
Than a dad. But
That's
anyway,
why.
when do people traditionally see a change in their eyesight? Is like 40 the magic number?
You wouldn't believe it is so predictable. So if you have excellent distance vision, it is almost exactly 40 to the day, or maybe 41, 42, that you start to need reading glasses. So that's very predictable. And the reason for that is the lens inside the eye ages, almost like a tree trunk. Like if you cut a tree and count how many rings it has, and you know how old the tree is. So our humans are like that too. So the lens starts to get bigger and bigger. So if you have a great distance vision, usually around 40, people will notice a change.
What about, does heredity have anything to do with it? If your parents had poorer sight younger in life, could you follow suit?
Correct. So if your mom and dad were both nearsighted, you're most likely to be nearsighted or farsighted or astigmatism even. Those things are hereditary. But if you've had, even let's say you wore glasses from the time you were in the 6th grade or something. My kids are actually right now in the 6th grade. So there are kids in the classroom that have glasses. And those kids typically will have glasses unless we do LASIK, which we do quite a bit of at our practice. People don't want to wear glasses. And we usually do that around age 18 or so or older. But usually at 40, if you have distant glasses, that's when you'll start to need a progressive, like you and I were talking about earlier, start to need a blended bifocal or a progressive bifocal. And then typically at age 60, just about everyone, if not everyone, will start to develop cataracts.
Now, when you start talking about bifocals and blended bifocals, do people still wear glasses with that line in them that have the actual bifocal? And do you see that line when you're looking through the glasses?
So that's a great question. So absolutely, people still do lined bifocals. And truth is, most people that are used to a lined bifocal, once they're used to that, they kind of like that. They don't traditionally switch to a progressive or a blended bifocal. But most people today, if they're going to start wearing that, when you get to the age, you will go with a blended. And what happens is, over the years, the computers basically, and what we've done and learning how things, we've made it better and better. So the ability to sort of blend it is easier. Most people switch. There is a little bit of a learning curve. I think you and I were talking earlier about it was sort of making a step, and it was kind of hard.
Yeah, he was like counting like a horse.
Yeah, exactly. But eventually you adapt it. And so most people can, but some people can't adapt to it, and then we would go to a line.
Is it a misnomer to think that computers are ruining people's eyes?
Actually, it's not. So, what's happening these days, especially kids, and I worry about it with my own kids being in the 6th grade, a lot of near work actually makes you more likely to be nearsighted. For example, in China, we've known this for years. I mean, they're forcing kids to study. The more near work you do, the more likely you're going to be nearsighted, plus the hereditary stuff we just talked about.
And is it like when people come to see you with regard to glasses, is there ever a time when you tell them it's just too soon, you don't need glasses now? I mean, if you start glasses before you really need them, does it make your eye deteriorate faster?
Usually not, okay? So the reason sometimes I won't, if they're young enough and maybe it's just slightly nearsighted, that they don't necessarily need them if it's just a small prescription. So we don't always give it if it's very, very small. For example, I have a slight pair of glasses, even though I'm an eye surgeon, that I use for driving at night. Right now I'm wearing nothing. I can read the newspaper, I can read my charts, I can read the computer fine, but I have a slight distance prescription. But so small, typically wouldn't correct that, and I just wear them at nighttime driving. But if I just have a kid, he's not driving yet, maybe he doesn't need them.
What about sunglasses? Is the sunlight damaging to your eyes? Should kids or should adults generally be wearing sunglasses, and should they be polarized sunglasses or?
Yeah. So, our office, we do it all: cataracts, LASIK, glasses. We do offer glasses, and there's different quality of glasses, like you said, with polarization and things. Sunglasses are definitely a good idea. I've been to Africa 6 times because it turns out I really love what I do, and I'll do it free, and I've been there. And so the incidence of cataracts is much higher because it's closer to the equator, closer to the sun. I just did a lunch and learn before I came here today for the interview, and somebody asked me, what about sunglasses? Does it cut down on the risk of cataracts? And the answer is yes, most likely it does. So yes, it's a good idea to wear sunglasses. It cuts down under the wind of the surface of the eye, cuts down on cataract formation, but even deeper inside the eye, things like macular degeneration, it can help out with that too.
And how do I know if I need a cataract or if I need cataract surgery?
Good question. So pretty much by the time you're 60, everyone needs or has cataracts, but not everyone needs it, okay? So if you're functioning well, it's not bothering you, we like to say activities of daily living. So if everything's good in life, you're fine, your glasses are working, you don't have any issues, you don't need cataract surgery even though you have them. So by the time you're 60, everyone, right? Even I have a little bit, I'm 54 and I have a little bit of cataract. It's fine as long as you're functioning well. Most commonly, the first thing to go is nighttime driving. So people will say, I'm struggling to drive at night. And you wouldn't believe, I have patients all the time, I'm like, I know they have cataracts and I can see it's significant. It looks to me significant. When I test their vision, they're not seeing that well. I'll say, well, sir, you have cataracts. And he's like, I see perfectly fine. I'm like, you're not having any problems? No. I mean, any problems driving at night? I'm like, oh no, I don't drive at night. I'm like, so there's your answer.
There's your answer.
Like they're not admitting that they have a problem at all, but they are having a problem. They've even stopped driving at night. But the typical male, right? They don't want to admit, there's nothing wrong with me.
Oh, sure, because I'm not getting older.
I see perfect.
I'm not getting older, yeah. All right, we've got less than a minute left.
Okay.
When's your next lunch and learn, or what do they find out about a lunch and learn?
All right, so for us, our slogan is focused on you. But so what we love for people to do is come learn a little bit before. So we do these lunch and learns. We do it every month. I just came for one. We demonstrate. We show videos, what's a cataract. We talk about the different lens options. We don't have time to do it today. We do lasers. We do special implants. We can even put bifocals in your eyes now. So we do them every month. They can just check our website, www.fichte.com. That's the best place to learn, or certainly call our office.
All right. For information and answers to your questions, contact Fichte, Endl and Elmer Eyecare by calling 1-800-309-2020 or go to fichte.com. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was brought to you by the following.